Now the last step after practicing this pattern in all these different ways, both in major and a minor, and applying melodically to a tune is to create harmonic movement using that melodic fragment. Because really,
A lot of times we can learn something really thoroughly and understand it, but when we go to practice it, it's really hard to still get it under our fingers and have it come out in a spontaneous manner that makes our playing sound good. So in this particular podcast episode, Trent Bryden, one of the amazing jazz pianists we have on staff, is going to be walking you through how to practice scales effectively, scales and chord scales. That way you can actually use them and integrate them into your playing, so it's improving your playing and improving the sound that you're creating when you're playing. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Don't forget to go to jazzpianoschool.com to check out all the other free education we have there available. And if you're looking to take some next steps in your journey, we do have many courses, a live membership, and even live teaching programs that are starting in the fall of 2024, September. With that being said, let's dive right in.
what's up guys? This is Trent with Jazz Piano School. So today we're going to be discussing how to effectively practice scale patterns. And for me, step one is to look for melodic content in real music. So be creative, dig out your old classical books, listen to some solos. It's completely up to you and what you enjoy. You just need to have the clear goal of picking out one concise fragment as the source for your scale practice. And that's because we remember as humans information better when it comes to us as part of a story. In the same way, it's easier to recall melodies that can be tied back to real musical moments as opposed to simply being generated by formulas or exercise books. So even if it's the exact same information, having that musical context to draw upon helps it to sink in a lot better. So this is the fragment that I've picked for today. It's that simple. It comes from a Bach chorale, but it just as easily could have come from a jazz solo. And again, the point isn't really where it comes from. It's that I can point to where it comes from and make that experiential connection. And now that I have my basic melodic material, it's time to practice. So practicing this melodic fragment involves setting three variables. The first is the scale, the second is the interval, and the third is the rhythm. So for the scale, you really could choose anything. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to focus on the major scale and the melodic minor. And that's because the major scale contains all the modes, so we don't have to worry about those. And the melodic minor can be used over several different chord types. So you really get a lot of bang for your buck by focusing on these two scales. For the interval, you can progress from unisons to tenths to sixths. Basically, playing essentially in a system of thirds, and you either put the bigger interval on top or the bigger interval on bottom. That's another way to think of it. Either way, I think of it as thirds, but technically it's tenths or sixths. So the rhythm, you want to progress from quarter notes all the way to 16th notes at a steady BPM of 60 beats per minute. And we're going to basically increase the complexity of the rhythms all the way through. Maybe not complexity, but I guess increase the frequency. So you got quarter notes, then quarter note triplets. I actually think that might be the hardest one, even though it's slower. So quarter note triplets, eighth note triplets, and then 16th notes. And if you can do something through all of those, then you're good. You can move on to the next thing. So really what you do is you take your melodic fragment, pick a scale, let's say the major scale, do it all the way through in unison through all those rhythms, then do it all the way through in tenths, then all the way through in sixths. And then we would move on to our next step, which is application, and actually creating some phrases with this that apply to a tune and some harmonic movement. And then we'd want to do the same thing with a different scale, so with the melodic minor, for the purposes of this video. So it takes some time, but we really do a lot with a tiny little phrase. So I'm just going to give you a quick example of kind of going through I'll just say major scale, doing that phrase in tenths, and I'll kind of move through the different rhythms, but I won't go all the way up and down. So we do have to create an alternate version going up and down so it like makes sense for the fingers. So you kind of have to like make a mirror version of the phrase. But let me just give you some examples. So this is quarter notes, very slow and relaxing to play this way. I'm not leaving any space in between the phrases. I'm just going right to the next one. And I'm starting from every note of the scale. And then when we get to the bottom, we would turn back. Assuming we're at the bottom, and now we're on to the next rhythm that I've already gone up and down, I might do the inverse version, something like this. Quarter note triplets. And again, that will be all the way up and down. Eighth notes, I'll do this, I'll just do eighth notes here. So it's pretty straightforward. Again, no space in between. So every time you start the phrase, the downbeats are like displaced. So you're starting the phrase in a different part of the measure every single time. It's very hard to talk while you... all the way up and down. Okay, so that's practicing kind of the nuts and bolts of the pattern, and you want to do that in unison, in sixths, and in tenths. Okay, so once you do that, then you want to find a way to apply that. So you pick a tune that's kind of in the key that we're working in. So I've been working in G, because when I went and found this phrase, it was in the key of G. It also could just be kind of whatever comes to your head, but you want it to kind of be intuitive. So for me, the first thing I thought or heard is How High the Moon, which starts in G major. All right, so that's what I'm going to try to apply this to. And the very simple way to do it is apply this to all the major chords. Fortunately, there's a lot of them in this tune. So I can just go. That wasn't a major chord, but it just came out. I was thinking major. I was playing the F major version over G minor, and that works. But the idea is to really focus on kind of the major chords, and you don't just have to play it from the third, right? Because we just spent all that time going from any different point. So really, I should be able to go. Let's try that one. Right, and just kind of try to play that phrase in as many different places as you can in the tune. So I would spend a lot of time doing that and kind of looping through the tune and just seeing where you can fit it. Now, I'm not going to walk through all of the steps again for the minor, but I'm just going to kind of show you how to apply it. So we would want to do the whole same thing with the melodic minor. So you get... sorry, it's E natural. I really like this stuff with the melodic minor because the intervals get so small here and they get very big up here. You get this augmented, and I think that's pretty cool. It's just a very unique sound, and it's cool for your fingers to get that on your fingers. So in terms of application, I just want to point this out for the melodic minor. you can use this over dominant chords. If there's not like too many tonic minor chords, you can use this on a dominant chord that's a fifth below. So for example, if I'm just sticking with this G melodic minor pattern, I'm going to play this over C7. And you just get C7 with the sharp 11. The Lydian dominant, if you will. So I would go through the tune and do nothing on the major chords and just focus on those dominant chords where I want to apply this. So like... so you see I'm really just trying to create little phrases with that pattern that we were just working on using the melodic minor over the dominant chords. Now the last step after practicing this pattern in all these different ways, both in major and in minor, and applying melodically to a tune is to create harmonic movement using that melodic fragment. Because really, when we play our chords, we want them to have melodies to them. And that's why I like picking a very simple melody, because it's easy to put chords underneath it. So I'll just show an example for the major and for the minor. So for example, for the major, if I put chords under that over How High the Moon, within context, it could be like this. So you see, it leads you to new places. So I'm simply playing the line. I'm filling in chords beneath it. But that leads me to my next chord, the A half diminished. And that might lead me to something else like that. So you use this melodic fragment as a starting point, and you let it, you kind of blur the edges. You make movements using it, but you kind of carry a little bit after, maybe get into it a little bit, and all of a sudden you've got some really cool sounding stuff. So that was the major version. I'm just going like, something like that. I could also do it from a different note. It doesn't have to be just the main melody. It could be from any starting point in the scale. Anyways, let me show you one using the minor version of this melodic fragment. So like G melodic minor. I'm going to use this right here. I'm going to play over a C7. Again, it's... So in context, it's like... One more time. The line between melody and harmony is a little blurred sometimes if you lead into the harmony with a melody like that, but I was intending to play it together. But you get the point. So again, the process is pick the scale, pick the interval, and progress through all of the rhythms. Really get down the pattern, and then apply it melodically, and then apply it harmonically. And then the benefit of using a tune like this to apply is by the end of this, you kind of have a way to play through the tune that's using this material that you're practicing. And any time you go to play this tune, you can basically kind of review this stuff. Basically, the stuff, the melodic material, the movements, it has a place to live that's not just, you know, on a piece of paper or in your head. It's in a tune that you can access and kind of repeat over and over again. And then before you know it, that stuff just kind of seeps into your playing in other tunes, and you can also intentionally apply it in other places. But at first, when you're just kind of like bringing scalar melodic material in, it's nice to let it have a place to live, so to speak, within a tune and within kind of a structured practice routine. Essentially, you've got two bookends. You've got the source that you pulled it from. You've got your kind of your specific applications, and then you've got all the stuff you kind of practice in the middle, all the patterns and stuff. And it's kind of a nice just set of knowledge all encapsulated within a tune that you have to actually play and perform. So that's kind of the way I like to think about this stuff, make everything connected and make it usable, while at the same time giving enough attention to the actual detail of the scalar practice itself. Okay, have fun and happy practicing.
Well, if you enjoyed that video lesson, definitely go ahead and subscribe to the Jazz Piano School YouTube channel, because we release a new lesson video just like the one you saw every single week. And we have other content educational series called Tips, Tricks, and Transcriptions that we release every single week as well. And don't forget to go to jazzpianoschool.com to check out all of the other amazing free education available there. And if you're looking to take some next steps on your jazz piano journey, we do have a membership available, many courses, and even live teaching programs that allow you to work with myself and my staff of Jazz Piano School educators. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Thank you so much for watching, and happy practicing.